Shalom and welcome back to Tidbits with Tara. Today I want to talk about Matthew 5:17 through 20. Many times this scripture has been misunderstood, and the majority of the people like to use these verses to say that Yeshua's fulfilled the law and it no longer exists and it's done with. But let's take a deeper look at it and see what it actually says. So please go with me to Matthew 5:17. Do not think that I came to destroy the law, but to complete. For truly I say to you, till heaven and earth has passed away, one yod or one tittle shall by no means pass from the law, till all be done. Whosoever then breaks one of the least of these commands, and teaches men so, shall be called the least in the reign of the heavens. But whoever does, and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the heavens. For I say to you that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall by no means enter into the reign of the heavens. So let's go back to the beginning where he says, do not think that I came to destroy. And if you have a Strong's Concordance, that's great. Go grab it. It's number 2647. If you have a polyglot, which I don't have yet, but if you have a polyglot, then that'll take you right back to the ancient Hebrew. But that word destroy means to demolish, to destroy utterly, to overthrow completely. So right there, Yeshua is saying, I don't want to do that. I want to maintain it. So he says, I did not come to destroy, but to complete. In some translations, that word says fulfill, and that's where some of the hang up is because they think that Yeshua came and he fulfilled the law and we no longer have to do it. But let's look at that number. It's number 4137 in your Strongs, and it says to make replete, to level up, to render perfect, to carry, to verify, to establish, to fill. So Yeshua did not come to destroy, but to verify, to make it perfect. And he is our example, and he says that we should follow after him if we are children of Yah. He is our example, and we should follow in his footsteps. And then it says, for truly I say to you, till heaven and earth has passed away. And by the looks of it, I think we're still here. So he says, one yod or one tittle shall by no means pass from the law. And that is from beginning to end until all is done away with and we're still here. So he does not want that gone. He wants it to remain. So whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands, he's talking the law here. If we're breaking the least of his law, he says, and teaches men to do so, they will be called the least in the reign of the heavens. But if whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the reign of the heavens. So I want to be fulfilling my part as being a child of Yahweh, the lost sheep of Israel, the sojourner in the land. I want to be the one that is walking right after my Messiah and fulfilling that, because it's just like with anything. If your spouse or your child or your friend, or if you're asking somebody to do something for you, like if I love what Brother Tom says. He says, if I ask my child to get me a glass of water and that child obeyed my command and filled it up and brought it back, he's fulfilling that. He's carrying that out. So, for I say to you that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes or the Pharisees, you shall by no means enter into the reign of the heavens. Now, interesting enough, the scribes and the Pharisees had the Torah, the law, memorized, but they didn't have it here. And that was their big thing. They added to it, they laid heavy burdens, which reminds me of another place in Scripture. if you want to go with me to Matthew 23, it says, Then Yeshua spoke to the crowds and his taught ones, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit on the seat of Moshe. Therefore, whatever they say to you, to guard and to do, but do not do according to their works, for they say and do not do. For they bind heavy burdens hard to bear, and they lay them on men's shoulders, but with their finger they do not wish to move them. Now the seat of Moshe, I believe sometimes it's called the Bema seat. The scribes and the Pharisees went before the seat, and they could only do one thing, and that was to read the first 5 books of your scriptures. So Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So right there, Yeshua is saying, guard and do what they are telling you on the seat of Moshe. But once they walked away, they could add to it, and they could make their own commentary, and that's where the heavy burden came in. So I don't believe that in the 3 years of the Messiah's ministry to us and teaching his disciples to walk in the law and telling them to do this, that in 3 years that would be done away with. That after he's telling us to do this. So he would have told us, after my death, this no longer is in existence. He would have told us that. But during his ministry and during his time here, he was making it very clear that we should follow the commandments. And rather than Yeshua abolishing the law, he actually made it more applicable and binding. And it will be by the law that Yeshua will judge all men and at the resurrection. Go with me to James 2:12. James 2:12. So speak and do as those who are to be judged by the law of freedom. Please go with me to James 1:25. But he that looked into the perfect law, that of freedom, and continues in it, not becoming a hearer and forgets, but a doer of work, this one shall be blessed in doing of all the law. Let's go to Romans 2:12. For as many have sinned without the law shall also perish without law, and as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. Let's go to one more. Revelation 20:12. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from what was written in the books according to their works. Yahweh's looking for our obedience. Please search out these matters for yourself. Search out Matthew 5:17 through 20. Search out what it meant in Matthew 23, where Yeshua is telling us to do what they say in front of the Moshe seat, which is the first five books of your scriptures. He was telling us to walk them out. So I pray this tidbit with Tara has blessed you. Until next time, shalom and blessings.